In this presentation, we are going to look at one of the kings under Songhai Empire. In fact, the greatest king that existed under Songhai Empire, and went with the name Askia Mohammed Toure. Askia Mohammed Toure. Well, his real name was Abu Bakr Toure, but as a Muslim, a devout Muslim, he took the name Mohammed Toure. But he also took the title Askia. He was a great soldier, a very devout Muslim, and a very good administrator. In fact, a little look into Songhai Empire. Songhai Empire was one of the well-organized political units or entities that existed in the area known today as, or that existed in West Africa before the creation of states or creation of countries. The establishment of Songhai Empire was as a result of the collapsing or the diminishing Mali Empire. As a matter of fact, some historians stated that the past of Songhai Empire was actually Mali Empire. That during the reign of Mansa Muhammad of Mali Empire, he took two sons of the king of Gao or chief of Gao hostage in order for the area or the territory to be loyal to him. But unfortunately, those children escaped from custody. So after the reign of Mansa Muhammad, Mali Empire took a nosedive and things started diminishing until the empire collapsed based on a whole lot of the developments which we have discussed in one of our videos in the past. So with the establishment of Songhai Empire, Songhai Empire started taking most of the territories that was formerly Mali Empire. So one of the, if not the highest king that existed under Songhai Empire was Askia Mohammed Toure. Now he took power by 1493. He seized power by 1493. One of the things he did was that he knew that one of the strengths or one of the major sources of strength of any empire or kingdom or any political structure was the army. Before he took over power, what the former kings were doing was that if the kings were actually, if there was need to fight a war or of expansion or any expedition, they will invite people, mainly peasants, to come and fight. They will equip them. There was no standing army before Askia Mohammed took power. So what he did was to develop or create a standing army, which were being paid. He equipped them and trained them properly. With that army, he went into extensive expansion. He went into expanding the empire the more. So the next thing he did was that he conquered a whole lot of territories within his area. Some of them that he conquered were those of them that were not Muslims, and then he forcefully converted most of them into Islam. Another thing was his major intention for conquering these areas was as well to control the trans-Saharan trade routes within that region, and this made him he subjugated the Morsi, which were also one of those controlling some trade routes, trans-Saharan trade routes. He conquered the Tuaregs of Agadez and some other groups within that region. With this conquest, the western Tahaza area of the trans-Saharan trade route was placed under his control. He extended the empire beyond Tahaza in the north. and also controlled salt mines within the Tahaza area. Well, the Fulani as well and the Mandingo in the west were also subjugated by Askia Mohammed and his army. As a devout Muslim, he stressed the need for the implementation of Sharia law. He was able to decode the Islamic code, trained judges in order for them to interpret the codes and at the same time implement justice in his territory. Askia Mohammed knew that effective control of the territory will give him upper hand. For this, he strengthened the central army. In fact, he built a strong central government and divided the empire into 4 parts. With this division, he placed people loyal to him in charge of all these divisions. This gave him strong level of loyalty. Now, the next thing he did was that he encouraged professionalism. That when Leo Africanus visited the empire during the reign of Askia Mohammed, he mentioned that there were judges, doctors, priests that were receiving salary from the king. And these people helped in the running of the empire. Well, the leadership of Askia Mohammed was very progressive, was very interested and also very progressive and also powerful. Well, the next thing was trade. He did not ignore the development of trade. He encouraged trade. The first thing he did was to make reforms in the materials or the method of weighing materials in order to make favorable dealings by both the sellers and the buyers. And this enhanced the reputation of Songhai Mohammed under Askia Mohammed, the Songhai Empire under Askia Mohammed. Well, he undertook pilgrimage to Mecca in 1495. In that pilgrimage, he went with 500 cavalry force, over 1,000 infantry force, and up to 30,000 pieces of gold. This was almost to the level of the pilgrimage that was undertook by Mansa Muhammad of Mali. Well, on his return, he was made the head of Muslims in West Africa by the Caliph of Cairo. Upon his return from big pilgrimage, he was made the head of Muslims in West Africa by the Caliph in Cairo. But one unfortunate thing that happened was that in around 1528, 2 of his sons made a successful attempt to dethrone him. A civil war started, and Askia the Great was exiled. He was as well referred to as Askia the Great. He was exiled by his sons. Well, this is actually where writers are a bit where they tend to conflict. While some writers believed he died in exile, some believe that he was able to return to his territory and regain his throne before he died. Well, that was the input, contributions and achievements of Askia Mohammed or Askia the Great. Please subscribe to our channel and click on the notification so that any time we drop a new content, you will be one of the earliest person to be notified. Thank you for still being part of our presentation. I am still Fortunatus Onuh.